Call to order, Town of Prescott Valley Regular Town Council meeting, August 8th, 2020. Welcome, everyone. I'd like to welcome down Rusty Thompson at this time. Rusty here. We kind of changed things up a little bit on our invocation, so doesn't look like we have one tonight. Let's please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance then. Join me with I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, everyone. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Hunt.
Present.
Councilmember Packard.
Present.
Councilmember Schumacher.
Here.
Councilmember Grossman.
Still here.
Councilmember Anderson.
Here.
Vice Mayor Nye.
I am here.
Mayor Blagoda.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thanks, ma'am. Jumping right into number 5, our proclamation. Stepping Stones Agency's 40th anniversary. If you would just come down now.
Whereas on October 15, 2020, Stepping Stones Agencies will celebrate 40 years of serving women and children in the West Yavapai County communities. And whereas Stepping Stones Agencies has remained dedicated to ending all forms of intimate violence in our communities and provides therapeutic and advocacy responses to women and their children seeking help from many forms of abuse, victimization, and homelessness. And whereas Stepping Stones advocates are available live and in person 24/7, 365, and have helped over 100,000 callers on our helpline and welcome over 6,000 women and children to the emergency safe shelter, and is committed to serving women and children for years to come, no matter how big our communities grow. And whereas Stepping Stones is proud to help people in our community turn their lives around and live free from all forms of victimization and abuse. Now therefore, I, Kel Blagoda, Mayor of the Town of Prescott Valley, Arizona, do hereby proclaim October 15, 2020 as Stepping Stones Agency's Anniversary Day and extend congratulations and gratitude for 40 years of exemplary service to the community.
I would just like to say thank you so much to the Town of Prescott Valley and the mayor and the council members. For 40 years, you've been here supporting us and the awesome residents that are here helping families in our community alongside with us. We're really grateful for that. Thank you so much.
Vice Mayor?
Sure.
I have a question. It has been a history that your fine group would come pick up too large of items to go in a car. Somebody told me recently they didn't know if you still did that at the new location, so let's clear that up.
I can clear that up for you. Yes, we still do pickups for large items such as furniture. You can always call us and we can get that arranged. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Not really used to being down there for just one presentation, so it was a little bit different for us. Moving on, item 6. This is something we're going to start doing a little bit differently as well. We're going to, many of you know we used to just do one student of the month, but because there are so many students that do so many great things, I know it's not a lot, but we're going to bump it up to 2. So, Councilman Grossman, it's all yours.
Good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be back here to be able to present our Student of the Month. Could our student please come up here? Brett, come on up, and your parents could also come up. All right, so just to let everybody know what's going on, as the mayor said, we're going to start doing 2 Students of the Month. Yes, I only have 1 student up here tonight. The other one is out of town, but I will make sure that he gets the certificate and tile. So this is being done as a partnership between the Optimist Club of Yavapai County, along with Bradshaw Mountain High School and the town of Prescott Valley. We want to honor these students, and I'm sorry, I got to take this off.
Thank you.
So, anyway, I'm always amazed at the quality of students that are selected as the Students of the Month. They are both active in the community, they're great students academically, many of them are active in sports or other activities within their school. And when you hear their bio, because Brinley is going to read it to us, you'll probably be as amazed as I am. And then after Brinley gives her talk, she's actually good friends with the other candidate. So what I want to do is I'll have her speak on him just to let you know who it is, you know, for a little bit, and then we'll have Brett and the others talk. So again, the quality of the students. So the students that we have tonight is Brinley Kidd, and the other student is Peter Kelly. So I would like to introduce to you Brinley Kidd.
Hello. So first, I definitely want to recognize my friend Peter Kelly. He is a very good friend to me. He has the ability to light up every room. He's the most charismatic person I think I've maybe ever met. This year, he's serving as the senior class president, and he's also the president of our DECA chapter, which is certainly something that is very near to my heart as well, is our DECA. So my name is Brinley Kidd, and I'm currently enrolled as a senior in the AP Academy at Bradshaw Mountain High School. I play varsity tennis, and I'm also one of the co-captains of the varsity basketball team this year. Last year, I was elected as a state officer for the high school division of Arizona DECA. My interests in activism and politics keep me involved in the community through Interact Club, volunteering on senatorial campaigns, and being a state leader for Arizona's chapter of Students Demand Action. I hope to leave a legacy at Bradshaw through my newly founded club, PEAK, the Political Education and Activism Club. But before I give up my time, I just wanted to take a second to thank the people who nominated me to be here tonight, my teachers. These unprecedented times have been very difficult for everyone, but I think that few professionals have had to adapt so much with so little financial incentive. The new and creative ways that they discover each day to motivate and engage their students in a virtual world has offered me endless inspiration. And so in return, I offer what I have, my gratitude, and my promise to go forward with the lessons they taught me and make this world a better place in any way I can. Thank you.
I'm expecting great things out of this young lady. I mean, just listen to what she said. I'm going to switch things up a little based on what I told them. Would either of you please like to talk about your daughter, brag a little bit?
Go for it. Go for it.
I didn't know I had to brag. I thought I was going to tell embarrassing stories.
Okay, tell the other thing. Yeah.
Well, I had to say, she wrote her speech, and I'm a teacher in the district as well. I work at Bradshaw Mountain Middle School, and so I just really appreciate that she sees the work that her teachers are doing, and that she has a genuine and authentic appreciation for that. And she's applying to colleges, and she's aiming very high, and I think she's going to get there. And so watch for this little Prescott Valley girl to be in the papers. I think she's going to make you real proud. And so thank you. It's been a wonderful community to raise our kids in. And we're super happy to have our new principal, Mr. Dahl. So I guess I'll turn it over to him unless Dad... Oh,
Yeah, no,
get to tell the embarrassing stories now. Yeah. No, just I wanted to say that we had really when I was we were raising Brindley. I could tell at a young age when she was about 10 years old that since I'm just a regular Joe Beckett Donuts guy, and we had a conversation one day, and I realized here I'm talking to a 10-year-old little girl who clearly has an intellectual ability higher than my own. So we tried our best to raise her in good home-based values, Christian values. The community was fantastic for helping us with that. This has been a great place to raise kids, and we do kind of have a little bit of a high expectation. She's done very well, worked really hard in school, and her national test scores came back, and they're very impressive. She'd be probably embarrassed if I told you, but she scored a 33 on her ACT, by the way. Yeah, so if anybody wants to help contribute to an Ivy League education, I'll give you my email, get the bank account. But thank you very much. We appreciate the recognition. Thank you very much.
At this time, I'd like to introduce Brett Dahl. He is the brand new principal at Bradshaw Mountain High School, and I want him to please introduce himself, say a few words, and then I'll make the presentation of the certificate. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Brett. I actually had taught in the district and was an administrator for 14 years. We went away for a little while, and we are so lucky to be back. I have learned that I do not want to be the principal of an online school, and right now that's a challenge right now. But what a proud moment, and a special thank you to Mayor Palguda and the council members. I met with him, and I was like, we have 1,600 kids, and we're recognizing one, and they really took that to heart, and I had a great conversation with him, and I appreciate it so much. Thank you for supporting education. Thank you for recognizing our kids. I mean, are you kidding me? That is a lot different than what it looked like when I was in high school. So proud to be a member of the Bradshaw Mountain community, the Humboldt Unified community, and more than anything, the Prescott Valley community. It's a place that we've raised our kids in. We had a son who graduated from high school at Bradshaw as well, and we're just so blessed to be here. So again, thank you for taking the time. This is our future, right? And it is very, very, very bright. So thank you for recognizing the importance of that. And one more round of applause for Brindley and Peter. They're amazing.
Now, normally at this time, I would turn the mic over to the president of the Optimist Club, Butch Miller, but he is out of town, so I have been given the pleasure of presenting to Brindley. First off, we have a certificate for her from the Optimist Club, and it's a fairly basic certificate. It says the Optimist Club of Yavapai County certified to all that Brindley Kid has been named September Student of the Month. And in addition to that, we have a tile for her which has the Optimist Creed on it. She could hang it up on a wall or use it as a coaster, whatever. So anyway, so Brindley, please step forward. You can have that and that. And if we all step in front, we can have a...
Dad is if you go stand where Ryan's standing, you get Prescott Valley in the back, just to let you know, help you out a little bit. Ryan, it's the first time he's had a phone. Excellent. One more round of applause. All right, moving on to item 6B, Chamber of Commerce. Brady Cabral. I believe, Brady, and I'm not sure, but last time, something significant happened in your life since the last time you were here? Yes? Is that true?
Yep, I got married.
Got married. Congratulations, Brady.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council for having us here tonight. As we know, times are tough out there in the business community, and so I think it's important now more than ever to recognize entrepreneurs in our community who are really keeping our economy going. If anything, entrepreneurialism is doing that. So tonight I would like to recognize a business that just joined our Prescott Valley Chamber of Commerce, and that is Leon Moise with American Crown Commercial Cleaning. Leon?
Thank you for having me. I appreciate your time. My name is Leon with American Crown Commercial Cleaning, otherwise known as AC3. We are a commercial cleaning company that offer a variety of services from pressure washing and gutter cleaning and window cleaning. What I'd really like to take a minute to talk to you about this evening is a service that we offer, which is exhaust hood cleaning. We're certified to the National Fire Protection Association Code 96 to go into these commercial kitchens and clean these commercial exhaust hoods, inspect them, clean them, and certify them back to code. There really wasn't anybody up here offering the service, hard to believe. So our restaurants were having to call companies up from the valley, which really wasn't providing the level of service that was needed. So we've solved that problem. We're here now, we're certified. We offer a lot better service than what you get up from the valley. And what we've come across now is, unfortunately, we have companies that are out here and they add the service on, and they're not certified. And we come across their work, and unfortunately, in this industry, you don't get a chance to strike out. We talk cleaning, but what it comes down to is a fire. What we do when we clean these systems is we break the fire triangle by removing that grease out of the system. Therefore, you can't go in there not certified and sell them a bag of goods. Leave them thinking that they're safe from fire and then have fires like we had in the Burger King over here, or about to have in the Burger King up in Prescott that my company is currently fixing right now. So I'm Leon with American Crown Commercial Cleaning, and we're cleaning up the hood.
How do we get in touch with you?
You can reach us by 928-250-0490 or Leon at AmericanCrownCommercialCleaning.com.
Nicely done, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate your time, and it's a blessing to be a part of this community.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Moving right along, council comments, item 7. Councilman? Vice Mayor? Oh, Councilman? Councilwoman on the end?
I just have a couple. So I feel like singing "We're in the Money," but I'm told by the chief that all the grants that are listed, there's 5 of them, probably well over $200,000 in the consent calendar, that's kind of regular expected funds, but it comes with requirements of reporting and such. And so just so everybody knows, these grant funds that we apply address things like DUI, poor driving behaviors, education and enforcement, traffic enforcement, SWAT equipment, and strengthening of effective law enforcement and prosecution to address violent crimes against women. So congratulations, guys. Even though it's same old, you still deserve kudos. And then I'd like to give Fatima and her employee, Denise Ryan, kudos because they gave us a whole chunk of destruction of records, and they're actually complying with statute. And it's a big, big job, and they're doing a great job. And then one last thing, I restarted my office hours 2 weeks ago. I meet here in Town Hall on Wednesdays from 10 to 11:30. And this doesn't mean that I won't meet at other times if that works better for our residents, but those are my regularly scheduled hours. And you can make an appointment by calling Leah at 759-3100.
Awesome. Thank you, ma'am. Moving on, item 8, consent agenda. All matters listed under consent agenda are considered routine by the town council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. Council, we've all had a chance to review. If there's any item you wish to remove, please do so now. If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Clerk, please call the vote.
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Moving on, item 9, new business. 9A, appointment to Board of Adjustment, William Kunish.
Kunish.
Is he here? Come on down, sir. Vice Mayor.
Hi, William. One position on the Board of Adjustment became open when board member Glenn Barrow resigned effective January 31st, 2020, completing out the term. Mr. Barrow was first appointed to this board on September 27, 2018, to a partial term with a term renewal date of January 31st, 2020. The vacancy was advertised and one applicant was received. Myself and council members Anderson and Grossman conducted the interview, and we are wholeheartedly recommending this appointment for a term with a renewal date of January 31st, 2023. I'll let the other interviewers speak for themselves, but we knew you were the right person for that position. And I want to thank you, as so many citizens do, stepping forward and making a difference in this community and help us create the quality of life we all enjoy here.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Would you like to say a few words before we have other people mention as well?
I just want to say that I'm looking forward to serving the town of Prescott Valley. I've lived in the town since 2007, and I've enjoyed living here. As many people have pointed out already this evening, this is a great place to live. It's a great place to raise a family, and it's a great place to serve the community.
Well, speaking of serving the community, and this will apply to everybody that we're voting on tonight for all of our new candidates, but we had a bumper crop show up for the couple of days that we were doing our interviewing. We're very fortunate to have so many talented volunteers that want to work for our town, and you among that group, that's for sure. So thank you for your interest, thank you for being here, and thank you for helping out the town.
Thank you.
Marty?
I will just second what Rick said. I mean, we're very blessed in this town that when we put the word out that we need volunteers for our boards and commissions, we've gotten not only volunteers, but we've gotten very good quality volunteers. And with that, I'd like to make the motion to appoint, where am I? Okay, there I am. Yeah. Motion to appoint William Kunish to the Board of Adjustment for a term with a renewal date of January 31st, 2023 by electronic vote.
I'd like to second.
Clerk, please call the vote.
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Sir, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor and Council.
All right, moving on. Item 9B is appointment to Library Board of Trustees. Megan Assay?
Right.
AZ. That was my next.
Here she comes. Come on down, Megan. One position in the Library of Trustees became open when board member Donna Morgan resigned effective at the completion of her term ending June 30th, 2020. Mrs. Morgan was appointed to this board on January 24, 2019 to a partial term with a renewal date of June 30th, 2020. The vacancy was advertised and one application was received. Myself, council members Anderson and Grossman conducted the interview, and we are wholeheartedly recommending the appointment of Megan for a term with a renewal date of June 30th, 2023. And your energy and your enthusiasm and all the things you've shared with us about why you want to serve on the library boards tells me personally you will work hard, be dedicated, and show up for those meetings. Mm-hmm. Would you like to say something?
Good thing I wore my heels today. We just moved here over 13 months ago. And I love the library, and I just wanted to get more involved in the community. And I'm excited to be here, and everybody that I've met so far has been really kind and friendly, and I really appreciate that. And just like you said, I'm excited to get started, and I'm really glad to be here.
Nice.
Lucky us.
Councilman?
One thing I wanted to say to everyone here that's listening to this is the Vice Mayor mentioned that one application was received. Now, that doesn't mean that it was the only application, so we accepted her application. It means that we stopped looking after we had interviewed her. There was no need for us to look any further because you did such an absolutely great job on the interview. Many times what happens is we'll receive an application and we'll choose to pass on that, and we'll advertise further. And we saw no need to do that this time because we are convinced, all three of us were, that you did a great job and you will do a good job for the town. So thank you very much.
I appreciate that clarification. You said it well.
Yeah, just so everybody knows, there is an interview process that we go through, and it's not extensive, but it is thorough. And her enthusiasm and energy is going to be well received on the library board. So,
We get a motion?
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to appoint Megan Essay to the Library Board of Trustees for a term with a renewal date of June 30th, 2023 by electronic vote.
I'll second.
Clerk, please call the vote.
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Nicely done, ma'am. Thank you for
Welcome
coming.
aboard.
Our final appointment of the evening will be for Parks and Rec Commission. Gary Sabato.
There he is. One position in Parks and Recreation Commission became open when Commissioner Ron Brinkman resigned, effective June 30, 2020. Mr. Brinkman was first appointed to this commission on July 9, 2009, to a partial term with a renewal date of June 30, 2010. He then served for an additional 4 terms, with his final term expiring June 30, 2022. The vacancy was advertised, and again, we're going to make that statement. 1 application was received. Remember what Councilman Anderson said, and boy, did it apply again. Myself, Council Members Anderson, Marty Grossman conducted the interviews, and we are recommending appointment of Gary Cabato for a term with a renewal date of June 30th, 2022. So you get on that microphone and you let people in this room know why we wanted you in this position.
Well, first of all, thank you, Vice Mayor, council members. We just moved into this town about a year ago. And what I'd like to do after my 27-year career with Parks and Recreation in Honolulu, Hawaii, is to serve my aloha, share my aloha with the community to improve the quality of life for this community. Thank you.
Nicely said, sir. Thank you.
We need a motion.
I'll make a motion to appoint Gary, help me out here, Gary.
Cabato.
To the Parks and Recreation Commission for a term with a renewal date of June 30, 2022.
I'd like to second.
Clerk, please call the vote.
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, sir.
Official now, Gary.
Thanks for coming out, Gary. Appreciate you stepping up. Moving on, item 9D, consideration of pledged revenue refunding obligations, Series 2020. Spiel.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. As we discussed last week, we're looking at refinancing some of our debt obligations for the town for a significant interest savings of around a little over $1 million. And tonight, I do have Bob Casillas from Stiefel here, who'd be happy to go over additional details. And in your packets, there is a resolution for tonight, which will allow the mayor, town manager, and myself to continue with the process with our external advisors to complete the refinancing over the next few weeks.
Great, thank you. Sir, would you like to say a few words? I mean, we kind of went over things last week. I don't know if you had anything else to add.
Yes, Mayor, Vice Mayor, fellow council members, again, thank you for allowing me and Mr. Gales from Greenberg Shire, your bond council, to be here. Ms. Pell stated it well. We went over last week. Interest rates continue to fluctuate, and we're hoping the next 2 to 3 weeks, as we continue the process, assuming you deem it appropriate to go forward tonight, to take advantage of lower rates, just like you have done in the past several times. And so we're here to answer any questions on that authorizing resolution or any of the draft documents that you have before you. Mr. Gales could address any of those, but thank you. I just wanted to mention that.
Vice Mayor?
I was blind before I finished reading all of that again. And I didn't get a headache, though. I know it's early, and much can change before we can sign on the dotted line. But do you have any guesstimate at all of the difference in the percentage that we can gain by going forward now?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, great question. There's actually 5 different debt transactions that we're looking at with the help of Mr. Gales and the rest of the team. Some of those bonds and debt go out are approximately 5%. Some are lower than that, but in today's market, again, assuming we have to get the rating and potential bond insurance, that we're hoping to get closer to maybe 2.5% to 3%, with the savings that are reflected in that resolution, the parameters, a minimum 3% savings. Right now it's greater than that. And as Ms. Pell had mentioned, we're hoping to get closer to $1 million net present value savings.
Thank you. I just want to reassure the citizens that we wouldn't be going through this process without that percentage of benefit. And this is my last time to ask you any question. And I want to thank you for all the years you so faithfully came forward and created a comfort zone for us here. I'm out of my league with issues like this, but I always felt comfortable with the information you provided, and I know you're going to continue to do that.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, thank you very much. Very gracious and very kind with your comments, but it's not me. You have a great team, as you already know, starting with Council, Mr. Tarkowski, Mr. Judy, Mr. Legler, Ms. Pell, and the rest of your team, Mr. Gales, Mr. Cafizo, who you know, who has been here over the years, 25 plus years, Larry?
Tried 35.
I lose count. I'm not good with numbers, so. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't say that. Anyhow, that's very kind. Thank you, and we're hoping to be able to deliver, and we'll continue to work with Ms. Pell and the rest of the team.
Thank you. Councilman? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you had something. Hey, Councilwoman?
I just want to congratulate our team, because this is very fiscally responsible. So I hope our residents heard that.
If there's nothing else, then can we get a motion?
I'd
like
love to make a motion.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. Let me get glasses on so I don't blow it. Motion to authorize the mayor in his absence, the vice mayor, to sign resolution number 2160, approving sale, execution, and delivery of pledged revenue funding obligation series 2020, including approving forms obligation authorizing execution and delivery of necessary agreements, instruments, and documents, delegating authority to determine certain matters, and declaring an emergency by electronic vote.
I'd like to second.
Clerk, please call the vote.
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Moving on to item 9E, Final Development Plan, Pronghorn Ranch, Unit 18, Phases E1 and E2. Parker?
Mayor, Council, you're looking at a subdivision plat that originally was reviewed in 2018 for Unit 18, comprising 131 lots that were ultimately developed from 154 lots that were depicted originally. The areas in yellow were included as tract as part of the original subdivision plat, and that was done because those areas were impacted by floodplain. The town code does not permit subdivision of areas in the floodplain, so the developer had to come back, go through the Army Corps of Engineers to take these areas out of the floodplain before they could be subdivided. On that basis, then, you have a subdivision plat for these two areas, which include 21 additional lots that are now out of the floodplain. Your packet does not include a subdivision agreement because all of the public improvements were done as part of the original subdivision plat approval. With that, I'd respond to any questions you have.
Thank you, sir. Councilman?
Yeah, just for the benefit of the people watching, what has to happen in order to take a piece of land out of the floodplain so that you could build on it?
There's an engineering process that is involved where an engineer prepares changes to FEMA mapping that is reviewed by the federal government. They issue ultimately a conditional letter of map revision, and then ultimately the maps are amended. It's a pretty arduous process dealing with the federal government, a lot of engineering involved and cost as well. But the value, obviously, of taking these lots out of the floodplain make them developable, so it's worthwhile.
I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows that it's not the town that is doing it. It has to be approved by an outside agency, and this time it's the federal agency.
FEMA, yes.
Thank you, sir. Anything else for Mr. Parker?
No, sir.
Okay, with that being said, a motion?
I'll make a motion. Motion to authorize the mayor in his absence the vice mayor to sign resolution number 2159 adopting and approving final development plan FDP 20-012 for Pronghorn Ranch Unit 18 phases E1 and E2 by electronic vote.
I'll second.
Clerk, please call the vote.
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Moving on, item 9F, acceptance of the CDBG Regional Account Grant for the Boys and Girls Club remodel and improvements. Judy?
Mayor, Council, I know you'll be disappointed, but I don't have a lengthy presentation to give to you tonight. Earlier this year, we began the process to apply for 2 different community development block grants. About 2 months ago, we came before you to accept the first of those, a $500,000 grant for some pedestrian improvements near Coyote Springs Elementary School. Monday this week, we learned that the state has approved our other grant project to remodel the Boys and Girls Club. As you're aware, about 2 years ago, we added on a large gymnasium to the existing facility. It's being well utilized by the club and the community at large. With this project, we are proposing to remodel the old side of the facility, if you will, give that a facelift, bring it up to code. When we added the new gymnasium, we created a courtyard, so we were hoping to create some programming space there. The parking lot needs an overlay, and if there's funding, we hope to do an outdoor sport court as well. So with that, we're looking for your permission to move forward with this project and accept those funds.
Vice Mayor?
I don't have a question. I have a strong statement. We've cleaned and we've painted and we've repaired. I'm so excited that we're going to do this.
Second that.
And just for everyone at home and in the audience, it's $762,279.
Yes, and there's no matching funds required with this grant, so it'll all be federal funds coming back home to Prescott Valley.
It was all good news. Hey.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion. I've actually taken Mia's exercises class there, and it's in desperate need of repair, so I appreciate this. I'd like to make a motion to accept a CDBG regional account grant and approve the related funding agreement with the Arizona Department of Housing in the amount of $762,279 to remodel the Boys and Girls Club facility in Prescott Valley.
I'd like to second.
Clerk, please call the vote.
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Rounding it out at 9G, installation of hot melt crack seal materials, bid award. Mr. Davis.
I've been looking forward to this for a week.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. The item you have before you is the fall crack seal program. You may recall last week work study we had somewhat of an abbreviated, but some discussion about the crack seal program for this year. So as you can see from the slides, this is the application that's being done. This is what the crews look like when we patch some of the better pavements that get shrinkage crackage. We like to fill it with elastomeric crack seal so it extends the life and it's a good maintenance treatment. So we did previously award the purchase of the crack seal material. We get a good price through the state contracting. We've got 3 semi-loads sitting down at the Long Mesa shop there, ready to be installed, and we sent out for labor for contractor award. As you can see from your council action, we had good competition, and the low bidder is Turco, a local contractor, for $94,275. So it's staff's recommendation. It's a good price to install those 3 truckloads of crack seal. And of course, this is on the website, has been on for the last month or so, but this shows this year's program. And as we continue to maintain our streets, these are the streets that would be up for a chip seal soon. So it's one of our maintenance treatments we like to do. So this is available on the Public Works website of this year's fall program. The program will start upon award about mid-October, and we get done around December 1st. So very good maintenance treatment. And I'd like to show, too, that what's important to us, too, is let the adjacent businesses and residents know what we're doing. But this works very effectively for us, tell us what we're doing, and, of course, town staff that can answer any questions they have about the work that's being performed. So it would be staff's recommendation tonight to award the labor for crack seal installation for the Fall 20 crack seal program to Turco for $94,275. Be happy to answer any questions about this year's crack seal program.
And Mr. Davis, for everyone listening at home, when this is going on, does it affect their mail service in any way?
It's a moving operation. There's really no disruption. That and the sanitation service, they can pull out of the driveways. It's just nice to let them know ahead of time because it puts them at ease and they can call someone. But no, really no disruption whatsoever.
But if they have any questions, they can reach out.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir. Anything else for Mr. Davis? Not, we'll entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion. A motion to award the bid for installation of hot melt crack seal materials in the fiscal year 2020 and 2021 to the responsible low bidder, Turco, in the contract amount of $94,275 by electronic vote.
I'll second.
Clerk, please call the vote.
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Mr. Davis. Moving on, item 10, comments from the public. Consideration and discussion of general unscheduled comments from the public. Those wishing to address the council need not request permission in advance. Any such remarks shall be addressed to the council as a whole and not to any member thereof. Such remarks shall be limited to 3 minutes unless additional time is granted by the mayor. At the conclusion of the unscheduled comments, individual members of the council may respond to the item addressed at the discretion of the mayor, or they may ask that the town manager to review the matter or ask that the matter be placed on a future agenda. With that being said, folks, who would like to come down first? We have one in the corner, sir. Come on down. Sir, if you would just state your name for the record when you come up to the microphone. And welcome.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, my name is Cesar Del Prado. I'm the owner of Capistrano Homes, local building company here for about 18 years, and got myself in a situation. In 2018, I filed for 2 building permits to build 2 residential homes in the Viewpoint. And during the process of getting the permit, a discrepancy came up with a 50-foot easement that's behind the property that is a drainage swale. And the site plan needed to be corrected. And when I challenged it to say that it is 50 foot, they went on to tell me it was 54 foot. I brought the challenge to them, showed them the plat, showed them all the documentation, and they approved the site plans for both properties to be built. We built the properties. Towards the end of the build was the time to put in the fence for the property in the back. And before I put the fence in, I went to the building department to confirm that I had approval to do this and the location. They then asked for me to have the property resurveyed to show the proximity of this, where this fence is going to be. When I did so, called out for the field inspectors, they came out and they confirmed that the location was proper.
But then the chief of the building department asked that battens be put up in strings so that we can pull a tape measure to show that we were 50 foot 1 inch from this easement, and we did so. So on a third inspection, they came out and agreed, and everyone approved. We then moved forward and dug and put in the fencing, and we were all good to go. 2 months later, I did the same thing on the next property, which was almost next door, and got approval. They came out, everybody was happy, and got the blessings from the city, from the building department, from zoning, and we were good to go. In a nutshell, 1 year later, after I've sold these 2 homes, zoning came back, a weed inspector who inspects the weeds back there signaled somebody that there was a problem with this and just found it odd that my fence was 4 feet further than the neighbors. So a letter was put out to those homeowners to state that the fencing had to be torn down and moved 4 feet closer to the backyard. And of course, that's stimulated phone calls to me. And I told them, no, we're good. This was all approved. And so dealing with the building department and zoning, I was told by the chief of the zoning department that the fence must come down. So I then challenged it further with documentation, showed that we got the necessary approvals. I've got signatures on the site plan saying it was approved, and they were saying that...
No, you're fine. Keep going.
Okay, sorry. Anyways, to shorten it up, I took it to the different departments, had meetings with them. I've got 0 strikes with the RLC. I've got a perfect record with the town of Prescott Valley. I built dozens and dozens of homes. I've never had an issue. The building department will tell you that I've never been a difficult builder. I've done everything by the book. I'm, easy to work with. And so before I put this fencing in, I did ask permission from the chiefs, and they granted it. For some reason, a year later, they're saying no. Now, it comes down to what they're saying, the easement and the drainage easement and the 100-year floodplain.
I want to hear it. Keep going, sir. Just wrap it up a little bit. Though.
So the plat of Viewpoint shows that civil engineering was performed and the town accepted it, and it shows a 50-foot wide floodway. We are not encroaching on that. For some reason, they're telling me that I have to be 54 feet. The house cannot be closer than that, which it's not. If they decide, or if they force my hand to move these walls, both homeowners have demanded that I buy the houses back, and that would financially ruin me. So I'm asking for the town to look into this, consider this, to allow the fencing to stay where it's at so that everybody's happy. I've asked the homeowners not to come here because I didn't think they would add to, they're just going to say great things about me and that I did everything right. So I'm asking for your guys' help.
I appreciate that, sir. And I'm just trying to picture it in my head. It's a block wall. You say fence, but is it a block wall?
Yeah, they call it a fence, but it is a block wall that's 4 inches thick.
Okay. Normally during this time, we don't have much interaction with people that come and call the public. We will direct, or at least I would like to hear more from staff. I don't need to hear an explanation at this point, but if a block wall was established over a year ago, I want to know a little bit more in regards to what's going on with this.
Do you happen to have a card?
Not on me, no.
Okay,
Can we get a phone number?
Yes. Let me get your
Mayor?
phone number and
Yes, absolutely. We'll make sure the clerk has it, a phone number, and a good way to get a hold of you, sir.
Okay.
I appreciate you coming down here. I know it's not easy, and we certainly don't have all the answers for you, but you have my word. We will try to figure out what happened and what we can do to make things better.
Okay, I will say just last thing on the record. The building department at the town is absolutely the best. I deal with Yavapai County and Prescott all day long, and it is always a joy to build a home in this town because they have their act together. They do a phenomenal job. So my intent is not to get anybody in trouble. I just need to get this cleared.
No, totally understand, sir. Vice Mayor, you can...
I just want to compliment you on your demeanor.
Yeah.
That's very important to me. Thank you.
Thank you for coming out, sir. So while he's doing this, do we have anyone else that's out there? No? Okay. Felt like you were getting ready to cut in front of that gentleman. Sir, state your name, please.
My name is Steve Hernandez. Good evening, Mayor and Vice Mayor Lori. I've seen you for a long time. Can I pass you some letters? No?
No, you can hand out whatever you have, but I tell you what, why don't you just talk because your timer's going, and then we'll take a look at what you've got going on.
All right. I'm going to basically read because last time I was here, I'm still shell-shocked.
You're okay.
Anyway, okay, my name's Steve Hernandez. Like I said, I lived here over 34 years now. I live on East Bighorn Drive. The house we're living in now we had it built. We raised our kids here. We worked here. We retired here. I retired from UPS. Then I worked for the town even. And then I also went to Sam's Club. I opened and closed that when it was here. But this year we decided to stop punching clocks and start flipping houses. So back in May, my partner and I was sitting back there. We bought this house on 9020 East Bighorn, 9020 East Longhorn, excuse me. And the property, the fence on that property, it's fence night. So the fence was badly in need of repair. And prior to replacing the fence, we met with a licensed contractor who spoke to a town representative in the building department. Our fence contractor asked if we could replace the fence with the exact same materials in the exact same location at the exact same height. Would we need a permit? He was informed we would not. So we proceeded to tearing the fence down, and it took 3 weeks to do it. All this time, the code guy was always driving around the block. So it took 3 weeks to build the fence, and we started on the opposite of the end of the fence, where the fence meets the road because it's the corner lot, and it faces the street, okay? And we'll get into that in just a minute. But after it was built completely, 4 weeks after that, we received a letter from the town saying we were in violation of a zoning code. Okay, herein lies the problem. During the hearing meeting for variance, I applied for that because I went to the town and asked, hey, what's going on here? We just replaced a fence that was falling down, and we repaired it. That's all it was. Same exact location, same height. Now they were telling me, because it was a corner lot, the code states it has to be 4 foot high. That fence has been there for over 20 years as far as I know, okay? But he said nobody ever applied for a permit. I go, okay, so let's get a permit. Well, your fence has got to be torn down and be 4 foot high. I go, why? It's been there for over 20 years. So anyways, am I up already?
Yeah, I know time flies, but just keep that in mind while you can keep going, though, sir. I want you to finish your thoughts.
I'm sorry. Okay, well, when we paid $214 to get in front of the code variance members, right up front, the staff member, Fernando, I won't want to name names here, but I'll drop that one. I know him because I worked for the town. Anyway, he automatically recommended that the code members deny this variance. I go, well, that's nice. Okay, why am I up here then? Why is there a variance thing? Anyway, so this process, we were treated with disrespect. We didn't have any say. Their minds are already made up, in my opinion, that this is it. We're going to stick to this code. And this code, I'm pretty sure, was made up for a line of sight issue going into the street. If anybody that goes there, and I had 10 people for me from the community in my defense, but nothing was listened to. They didn't want to listen to it or anything like that. They just rejected it altogether. So they voted against me, of course. So, why is there a process of variance when their minds are made up pre-hand and the lack of communication is not even there? You can't talk to these people. It's it. Their minds are made up. So I just want to say this commission should be so to thoroughly understand the variance application, and this commission has the right to grant exceptions, but with the town staff making a recommendation to deny the variance, we were not given the due process of the variance. Our variance was due to extremely unique situation that was created over 20 years ago, and existed without any comments, notice from the town or surrounding neighbors. Variance appeals should be considered on a case-by-case basis and the surrounding circumstances. Maybe the town should consider updating the codes. I don't know. All aspects of the variance should be considered, not just the mindset of your commission that its variance does not adhere to the code, so therefore it is denied. I am sure there are many code violations and variants that should not be granted routinely. Good community development is necessary, especially with the growth taking place in Prescott Valley. Through my variance application, I was not pleading inconvenience, financial burden, property value decline, or anything. I was just saying it's the right thing to do. We have unique situation and exception should be granted as this particular zoning ordinance has no real value for our case. There seems to be an undercurrent of unwillingness to work with your community, homeowners, and business owners, and it is now the time for the town to seek out effective methods and progressive thinking towards change in working with our community. That's all I have to say.
Thank you for coming, sir. And I believe you had a handout, but I tell you what, if you get it over to the clerk, she'll be able to make copies for everyone on council. Okay, then she'll be able to get those to us. I definitely recognize where you're coming from, sir, and actually, I wasn't aware you were going to be here this evening, but I in fact did see what you were speaking of, and the ordinance is for a safety purpose on the corner of a property. And there are exceptions, and I believe that we should be looking at more of the color of the law as opposed to the letter of the law when it comes to certain decisions. And I think we should maybe explore that a little bit more. And
Mr. Mayor, the council doesn't have the authority to do that.
No, I'm not saying council does, sir. I'm speaking in regards to our great volunteers on the boards that we do have. And it feels like this gentleman, that was part of the issue, that you felt that you weren't treated as if anyone was listening or considering anything and was ruling it as a letter of the law. This is how it is. And
the option folks have in the Board of Adjustment is to go to the Superior Court. That's their option.
And I think, I just think I understand where you're coming from, sir, and I feel for you when it comes to certain things. And I feel for all the residents when they feel like they go against big government or big town and they feel like they're just a small person in a big sea. So, and I mentioned it, I believe it was last time, that we as directing staff, that we expect a group of citizens and contractors and professionals to get together and review what we have. Because I'm sure, Mr. Legler, you may agree that some of these things that we have written were when your kids were very, very small. And I'm not saying anything needs to be changed, but I would feel better if we had another set of eyes or another group set of eyes at least looking at these things.
The issue isn't the code. No. The issue is the discretion of the Board of Adjustment, and the Board of Adjustment is an independent body, and it is reviewed for due process by the Superior Court. The council has no involvement.
And I believe, Mr. Legler, you weren't here for the previous, when we discussed it. I believe Stephen was here when we had another issue. And that's what I was referencing in regards to having a group of individuals to meet, and that is going to happen. So we need to make that happen. So whether staff is involved in facilitating that, or if it's going to take a council member to be a part of it, we need to have a group of people review some things and let council look at it at work study, let the another group look at it. It doesn't even necessarily have to come to council.
Mayor, I'm just stating that it has nothing to do with what was just presented to us.
No, sir. I am well aware of what we're speaking of in regards to what was presented tonight, and this as an overall. This isn't just an isolated incident, and it seems to be becoming a pattern in regards to who is coming in front of us with challenges that they are facing in regards to different groups that we have. And we're trying to give our staff the tools to do their job well, as well as the citizens the opportunity to live in a good community that is not feeling like they're being beat down. That's just my personal opinion. Council may have a different opinion, but that's my view on this. Council, if you have anything else, I'll give you guys the opportunity. Otherwise, look for a motion to adjourn. Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. Did you have something? No, you are more than welcome to come down. I apologize. I thought you were together. But no, you get a voice as well.
This is Hernandez, Part B.
Go for it.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor, council members. Your hard work, dedication, passion given to the town of Prescott Valley and its residents. I've been brought up with the idea that if something ain't broke, don't fix it. In my opinion, the appeal process of the Code Enforcement Board of Adjustment is broke and needs fixing. The Merriam-Webster definition of appeal is a legal proceeding by which a case is brought before a higher court for review of decision of a lower court, an application as to a recognized authority for cooperation, vindication, decision, an earnest plea, an appeal for help. Wikipedia says in law, an appeal is the process in which cases are reviewed by a higher authority, where parties request a formal change to an official decision. Appeal function both a process for error correction as well as a process of clarifying and interpreting law. This means there is a chance of a reversal or clarification. That was not the case with the board, who heard our petition on September 28th. Upon hearing our case, we were immediately told their board strictly adheres to all codes and ordinances without sway. With the exception of one board member, no one cared why we felt an exception was a reasonable request. The ordinance dictates that fences on the street side of a corner lot must not exceed 4 feet in height so as to not impede or interfere with the line of sight. It's basically a good ordinance, but the fence in question is 71 feet from the yield sign and in no way obstructs drivers' views of vehicles or pedestrians present. The heart and intent of this ordinance is not violated with our 6-foot fence. We need to develop better communication within the town's process for appeals. Is it too much to ask for an independent, honest look at each request? Then, based upon the individual merits of each request, issue fair and impartial judgment? Thank you for your time.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mayor, were you going to let us reply, or?
We're going to hear from everyone.
Okay.
Sir, it looks like you're interested.
My name is Dean Mickelson. I'm the other half of Florine Mickelson. We moved here 2 years ago, and I see this fence every morning through my kitchen and bedroom window because it's through the alley, and I look through my yard and look at it. And all I want to say, because ditto on everything that's been said by the Hernandezes, is that I'm on the corner as well, on Bighorn, and I saw the code vehicle many times going in the neighborhood while this fence was being built. And this is a long fence that's exactly where it was 20 years ago. I submitted pictures. I went and took pictures and submitted them to the hearing. No one was interested in those. I did give them, I don't know if they ended up in the file 13 or where, but I took 3 pictures of how abhorrent and ugly and disgusting the 20-some-year-old fence, whatever it was. It's just fallen over and rotted and black coming off the red wood, and I am so joyous to look at this nice fence. But that's beside the point. The point is, if we're doing this correctly and we have the community in mind and the people's interests in mind before the code number in mind, then we should say, this fence is starting to be built. I've seen this fence starting to be built. I think this is against the code. I will contact Mr. Hernandez and tell him I believe that we have a violation of the code. Instead, and I would like to just say my estimation, and I'm pretty sure it's pretty close to right, 3 times that I saw this vehicle in my neighborhood within a 4-week, 6-week period. It took a while for this fence to get up. It's all completed. Then he gets nailed. That is not the way you treat people. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Sir, thank you for coming. Councilwoman, you had something to add?
I thought you said you were looking at us to make a comment. Is that all right?
If you had something, yeah. Normally I don't. Obviously, we don't respond back, but I've already said my 2 cents, so I figured it'd be fair for anyone else.
I just think that, I'd like to look at this process, because if we're telling people to make an appeal and they don't have any chances of getting through an appeal, then why are we communicating that to them? It doesn't seem like good customer service, and I know that that's what we're known for. I mean, the previous man gave us kudos on that, and I understand that his contractor, who's a reputable contractor, gets permits, called ahead of time, was probably, when he revealed it, was probably our staffer said it's pre-existing, non-conforming, you're fixing it up, great. And so I just am worried about the customer service part.
Thank you. With that being said, is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak? I didn't think there was. Look for item 11. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Clerk, please call the vote.
Councilmember Schumacher?
Yes.
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for everyone that came out. Have a great evening, and thanks for sticking around.